Hey everyone, Mr. Phil here. I always tell people that the best way to make sure your robot passes field and software inspections when you get to competitions is to run the self-inspect before you even leave home. So this tutorial will show what a good self-inspect screen should look like, and will give you some tips on solving some of the more common problems that might show up. So let's get started. First off, you need to have your driver station connected to your robot controller. You know that it's connected because of the green battery status. To bring up the self-inspect, you use the little menu in the top right hand corner and click on self-inspect. You'll see there's two options, driver station and robot controller. Let's do the driver station first. The first thing you should verify is that your driver station app version is legal. And in this case, we're seeing driver station version 8.0. So for PowerPlay in 2022, this is the minimum version, so that's great. If you're watching this after the PowerPlay season is over, you'll need to make sure that it reads the current legal minimum version as defined in Game Manual 1. So once you've verified that you're running a version legal for the season, then you can check all the other statuses. And basically what you're looking for is you want green check marks everywhere. As soon as you see a red X or other indication, it means you've got something that you need to clear up, fix before you get to competition. There's also a menu up the top that lets you do a couple of other things. Just pop that up for a second just to show you. But now we're just going to move on to the self-inspect for the robot controller. Show you what you should see there. Once again, we can go down and check that the version is correct. Version 8.0 robot controller, so that's legal. So now we expect everything else to be green, top to bottom. So now that we've seen what a perfect self-inspect screen should look like, let's look at some common problems and how you might go about fixing them. So I've set up some scenarios here that we can address. First, right off the bat, you'll see that we have an issue here that the driver station is saying the apps don't match. This is fairly common at the beginning of a season, and you want to take care of this straight away. But let's have a look at the self-inspect for a little bit more details. So we'll start with the driver station, and we see a couple of problems. First off, we have a exclamation on the Wi-Fi access point. It says the name is Coolbot. That's a cool name, but it's not legal. This should be your team number followed by RC for robot controller, so we'll fix that at some point. There are no other red errors showing, but I will draw your attention to the fact that the driver station is version 8.1.1. Alright, so now let's go back to the robot controller and see what shows up here. You'll notice that we have some extra red marks this time. We have two at the beginning. The RC password is showing as the default, which means we haven't changed it from the password of password, and it also shows the Wi-Fi access point as Coolbot, which you knew was a problem. But it also shows that our app versions aren't matching. The robot controller is 8.0, which is legal, and the driver station is 8.1, which is also legal, but they don't match. So we'll need to decide what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is fix these first two. We're going to do that by pulling up the Manage menu, and we can do that right on the driver station. So we're going to back out of the self-inspect and then go to the Program and Manage, which is on the top right-hand menu. Program and Manage. You can do this from the PC as well, but it's just as convenient to do it from here. And what this is going to do is bring up the Manage page, and you're going to use the menu to go down one more level. So this is where we can view various things, but the main thing we can do is we can change the name. And this needs to be the team number, which in this case is 2818-RC for robot controller. No spaces, nothing else, just that. And we need to assign a new password. So we're going to put that in here. Confirm it, and then don't forget to scroll down and submit these changes. Once we submit them, it's going to actually change the Wi-Fi access on the robot controller, so it will disconnect and it's going to give us a warning. Sometimes it will reconnect automatically, sometimes it won't, in which case you just need to go in and manually reconnect. you'll see the connection drop out and then come back in. There it is, it's dropped out. I'm going to back out and go back to the main screen. Ignore that error because it's because it was disconnected, but you'll notice that we still have a green battery level, so that tells us we have reconnected successfully. If not, you can just go to the settings and repair with the controller. In this case, you'll see it's got the new name, but if it had the old name, you could just go in Wi-Fi settings and select the new name. It's always a good idea to go back into the inspect and verify that the changes have gone correctly. So we're going to go to the robot controller, scroll down, and you notice that we now have a green for the password and we have a green for the access point. So what we need to do now is deal with the mismatched versions. So if your versions are not the minimum legal, then you will need to upgrade both the robot controller and the driver station. But in this case, both versions are legal, they're just not the same. So the question is, do you upgrade the robot controller or downgrade the driver station? If we have to do this competition, we always downgrade the driver station because it's the safest option. It doesn't run the risk of damaging or removing or making your code not run. If you're doing this in your workshop, then you have the choice based on what you think is the most relevant code. But I will always say, go for the initial minimum version unless you know you need a later version. It's usually the most stable. So in this case, to upgrade the driver station, we're going to use the Rev hardware client, which can be downloaded from the Rev Robotics site, and there's a link in the descriptions under this video. And you'll see that you'll connect into the driver hub with a USB cable, and it will scan it and tell you what you have. And you'll notice that this, in this example, it shows that we have a driver station app of 8.1.1, but we want to downgrade it to 8.0 to match our robot controller. So we can pick a previous version, and if it's not on your laptop, then you can download it. Once again, this is why we want to do this back at the shop rather than the competition, because you may not have Wi-Fi. So once you've downloaded it, then you can click the downgrade button and it will install the 8.0. Now the key thing here is that it will show that it's out of date, but that's fine as long as it's the minimum legal version. Once the new app has been loaded, it will reboot the app on the device, in this case the driver hub, and it may start running straight away, or you may need to manually restart it the first time. If I switch back to the driver hub, you'll see that it's not actually running, so if I just click on the icon, bring it up, it will run, and then I can verify that everything is still working okay by going into the self-inspect. And now you see that we're green across the board and the driver station versus matches, and it's all good to go. And you can double check on the driver station as well. So this is how you want your robot to be when you come to competition, and you will have no trouble passing software inspection. Another great resource is this self-inspect wiki created by Chris from the tech team. He goes into much more detail and covers all the various elements that can be red flagged during the inspection. It's also linked below in the description.